Rachel Warner.
I'm Labika Rawood. For more information on the work that we do and how you can help us to help others, please visit our website www.secondchances.org.za.
In Junior Achievement South Africa, its focus is really to expose youngsters within high school and out of school to entrepreneurial thinking, and ours is focused at high school from grade 10 to 12.
I'm very big on youth empowerment and making a difference and touching lives and impacting the lives of our young people. That's practically what I do with my foundation as well, and ever since I was crowned as Miss SA.
The goal of the magazine is to basically share information that will be able to assist small business owners.
You're listening to The Social Show with Rachel Warner
And Labika Rawood, live on brandlive.co.za.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to The Social Show with Viwe. Unfortunately, my co-host, as I've said before, has left me for greener pastures, but it's okay. It's all right. The rain will still fall, and it feels like the rain is going to fall today, so I'm a bit excited about that. But before we get into anything, we're going to start off, as usual, with the news. The Federated Hospitality Association of South Africa has called on members to optimize water resource management, with the city of Cape Town currently under level 3B water restrictions. Now, dam levels dropped to around 39.2% by the end of January, and the city has warned that it is not viable to use the last 10% of water in the dams, and forecast for rain is dismal. Now, the average consumption of water in Cape Town is approximately 80 million litres over the collective per day. Water saving targets of 800 million litres. FEDHASA, CEO of FEDHASA, Chifiwengwa, wow, that is quite a surname, says they also face challenges of educating guests and visitors and bringing them on board with the country's water-saving efforts in this time of severe drought. Now, FEDHASA keeps its members abreast of current water shortages, as well as promotes best practices in water resource management on an ongoing basis. On Saturday, 11 February 2017, the annual Cape Wine auction raised a record-breaking 22.3 million for its 22 beneficiaries that affect education and the lives of children in the Cape Winelands. Now, the funds raised are donated without deductions at the Antonji Rupert Wine Estate, sponsored by Nedbank Private Wealth. Bids of travel, accommodation and limited edition wines went under the hammer, with a bespoke experience in Napa Valley, California, reaching a height of 3 million. And this is the highest ever paid lot in the history of the auction's existence since 2014. The Lionel and Anton Smith collaborative sculpture, created especially for the auction and standing at 3 meters, reached a whopping 1.2 million and included a wine and dining experience at the Idiom Fine Dining Restaurant and Wine Estate. Guests from across South Africa, the US, Germany and Sweden were treated to cuisine prepared by some of South Africa's leading chefs, limited edition wines and performances by Zolani Moholo, Watershed's Craig Hines and Georgetown. Now, Cape Town auction director Daryl Robertson says they are overwhelmed by the generosity of the bidders. Lastly, Little Eden Society is calling upon all CEOs and company executives to support people with disabilities by participating in a fun wheelchair obstacle race, which will take place on Saturday, 25 March 2017 at Holy Rosary School in Edenvale. Now, this fundraising campaign aims to raise awareness of the special needs of people with disabilities and to financially assist Little Eden Society, which cares for over 300 children and adults with profound intellectual disabilities. To enter, each company would contribute 50,000 to Little Eden and purchase a wheelchair to use during the obstacle race. At the end of the campaign, all the wheelchairs will be used to help children at Little Eden. And that wraps up our news for the day.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
A lot of the time you find that a lot of corporates find it very difficult to come up with a really good CSI strategy. And it's because, the CSI space is quite small in South Africa. It's only growing. But more than that, I think it's because it's very difficult to run away from it just being a PR gimmick and it actually being something that really is going to help communities, uplift communities, upskill people, and really change the way in which the country looks and feels right now. So today on the show, I'm just going to highlight a few CSI heavyweights. Now, when I say heavyweights, I mean people who have been in the game for a long time, who are able to help companies and brands really come up with a really cohesive, strong CSI campaign that will not only build your brand, and it will also sort of extend it. And also, I always say, when Libika was here, I used to always say that, a lot of brands make the mistake of coming up with some really crazy CSI initiative that has nothing to do with their brand. And I always say they need to focus on what it is they're selling, what it is their service is. So, for instance, if Wimpy is obviously, we know if Wimpy is a food outlet, so you wouldn't want Wimpy to go and well, they could give to education, but I would expect them, or their brand is strong enough to do more of a feeding scheme or something along those lines, which you see with Kellogg's. Kellogg's does breakfast for better days. You see Investec has pro maths where they help kids get into maths and science programs. So you need to be aware of your brand and aware of your strength in your brand so that you can give generously and you can give without it hurting your business. So today I'm talking about 5 CSI heavyweights that I think if you're a CSI manager or you are within any non-profit organization or any sort of organization that will help or wants to help the community get better in any way, these are the people to really look out for and really talk to and really find out where you can make an active and a meaningful difference, right? So the first one I want to talk about is called Shikulu Social Investments. Now, Shikulu is South Africa's leading corporate social investment manager. It's led by a team of thought leaders, and Shikulu provides private sector entities with a one-stop service to undertake comprehensive social investment and community grant making in line with national and international development trends. So what I love about Shikulu is that you are going to go and tell them what it is that you want to give to. You're going to tell them your brand. They obviously probably know your brand. And then they're going to come up with a strategy for your business to actually come up with a really good social investment plan in line with national and international development trends. And that's what you want, right? You want to be internationally an international player. You don't want to just, focus on a problem that is niche. You want to be able to be global in your effect. So I love that about Shikulu. And also what they do is that they are positioned to offer developmentally sound solutions at the level of service and quality that you demand. They also offer outsourced fund management. So if you are a fundraiser or you want to fund or you have funds, what they can do is manage them in a way that will expand opportunity and freedom. And also, obviously prioritize national priorities, local realities, and individual relationships. So what I love about that as well is the fact that when they are harnessing or trying to bring you together, your brand with a really good community project, they're also saying we're going to make sure that your relationships with other brands is strong as well. Because, what we don't want in CSI, and this is the space where it doesn't happen, is competitiveness. Competitiveness is completely, not about CSI. CSI is about collaboration. Collaborate with the people so that we can come up with holistic solutions. So for instance, you want your brand to be able to say, okay, what we can give, for instance, if I'm going to go back to Wimpy, if Wimpy says, what we can give is food, you want to collaborate with Deloitte, and Deloitte has an amazing bicycle initiative. And what they can do is collaborate together and say, you know what, we're going to provide transportation by giving kids bicycles, but Wimpy's going to give them breakfast. And then you've sort of solved 2 big problems, which is poverty and transportation. And, in a lot of disadvantaged communities, you find that children have to walk long distances, and then they still have to find what on earth they're going to eat before they start really learning. So it's very important that brands become more friendly in CSI. They don't compete. And that's the biggest mistake, is that you find that they're competing and you find that they're not necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, Chikulu has been around for 16 years, which I think is really, really big, given the fact that CSI only just started to get momentum a few years ago. So they really are thought leaders. They really have a really amazing grounding for what they offer. And I think they're really, really amazing. And they also, what I love is also the fact that they really invest in arts and culture and heritage, which I think is something that CSI is struggling with arts and culture. We're struggling with disaster relief, and we're also struggling with what else are we struggling with natural disasters, basically. And the thing is that you need a CSI company that understands that the struggle is there and actually has stronger enforcements for companies to get into arts and culture, right? Because I mean, we can't fix everything and forget that we are such a traditional, beautiful, culturally rich country. And I love the fact that they have that focus in their company as well. So I think definitely Chikulu Social Investments is one of the biggest heavyweights in CSI. And if you are looking for somebody who's going to give you a one-stop shop, whether it's agricultural needs, whether it's arts and culture, whether it's social development or the environment or healthcare, they have sort of approaches that will aid you to really make sure that your money is invested well. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that your money is invested well, that people are actually benefiting from your contribution to society. And because then what's the point? I also like the fact that they are 51% black-owned company, which is very important, as we all know. And, it's very important that we make Africans deal with African problems. And I think sometimes we far-fetched and things can come out of the UN or, USAID, which are great organizations, but they're international and they can't really come and help us with our grassroots needs. And what's what I love about Chikulu is the fact that they are black-owned, they are in South Africa, and they operate within the CSI space only. And I mean, that is just amazing, and that's very difficult. But anyway, if you want more on them, you can go on their site. It's chikuluinvestments.com, and you can find out a little bit more about what they do. My second focus will be Trilog. Now, Trilog has an interesting story with us, Social TV. We actually partnered with them last year, and we were their media partner at their CSI conference, which was amazing and massive. We had Vodacom there, we had MTN there, we had APSA there, we had really great brands who have really amazing foundations. And what they do is that at the CSI conference, NGOs get to meet the CSI managers who they really need the funds from. And it's a really beautiful space of collaboration. It's a beautiful space of meeting each other with one goal, really, and that is to change the way South Africa looks and feels. And I think the more we have these conferences, the more we can the closer we are to our 2020 goals, to our 2030 goals, and the NDP plan, at the end of the day. So Trilog was founded by Nick and Vanessa Rockney and Rob Worthington Smith in 1999, and the early years saw the development of publications and services previously run by the founding team, including their remarkable CSI handbook, which is, I think, the biggest thing out right now, the biggest CSI handbook in South Africa, actually. If you don't know what is going on and you actually can't go to Chikulu Investments to get your strategy, what they have is a really amazing handbook. And in that handbook, they have, I think, almost every single big company that's really making a great difference. So you can find out what APS is doing. You can find out what Investec is doing, and in just, a matter of turning pages, really. And they conduct really amazing research. And their vision is that they want a society in which businesses can anticipate long-term challenges and respond to these responsibly, not through, self-regulation and compliance with the laws of the land, but through inspired leadership that constantly innovates to benefit all stakeholders in the vision of, economic growth. And that's what we're actually looking forward to, economic growth for the most, the underprivileged communities. We want to see people making money. We want to see a healthy community in South Africa across all boards. It doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you do. You must be able to make money. You must be upskilled in order for you to make money for your family. And that is what I love about them. They are about economic growth. And their corporate consulting services give companies the strategic support necessary to conduct business with a positive impact. And their offers are tailored to clients' unique experience and needs and budgets. Again, that's what CSI is about. It's about uniquely finding the strength of your brand. And from there on, we can find where you can really come in and do the difference, make the difference rather. And they, produce really amazing integrated sustainability and CSI reports for companies. They provide full reporting services from structuring, information gathering, writing to design, print and delivery. So they are also a one-stop shop. On my third slot, we have Sangonet. Now, Sangonet is the South African NGO network, which was founded in 1987. Now, they've been around for donkey years, okay? So over the past 28 years, Sangonet has developed into a dynamic civil society organization. Now, its history is closely linked to the social and political challenges and changes experienced by South Africa during its transition to democracy. And Sangonet is still one of the very few non-governmental organizations in Africa involved in the field of information communication technologies. And it continues to serve civil society with a wide range of ICT service. Everyone is going digital, and that's what I appreciate about Sangonet. Sangonet is a really big heavyweight, but more than that, they are on the net. They were the first real NGO network to really infiltrate the digital space, and I think it's so important that we don't look at CSI as something like ancient and boring and something that doesn't necessarily have life in it. And what Sangonet did rather is that they really utilized the new technologies, the new ICT technologies that exist, and they sort of translated the CSI space within that. And I think whenever you have a leader that does something like that, you have to put them as a CSI heavyweight, because not only do they support effective use of ICTs in South Africa, but they also provide quality services and initiatives. So what they do also is that they really try and integrate more NGOs within the digital space. And the more NGOs there are in the digital space, the more we get to know about them, the more companies can fund them, and so. And that's what we want. We want that wheel to roll in that way. So if you don't know about Sangonet, go to their, they're also known as NGO Plus. So if you want to know a little bit more, go to their site, find out how you can be a strategic leader within the digital space, because it's very difficult for NGOs to break into the digital space. Everyone is going digital. And CSI is lacking behind in South Africa, and I love that they really did their best to get into, to get about how many NGOs do we have? We have over 122,000 nonprofit organizations in South Africa, and what I love is the fact that only a small percentage of them are equipped with, digital skills. And you need to have a company that's readily there to make sure that they get into the internet, they get into the digital space, and they don't become, those fly-by-nights or forgotten, really, really meaningful NGOs. We want to put them on the map so that they can get the necessary funding, and they can be great. They can be really great. Lastly, we have one that I think everybody knows, and I love them because we need this so badly in CSI. When we spoke about US funder and dying, and his MND diagnosis, and how there was no research before he started the J9 Foundation, I was completely shocked. And I felt like there isn't enough research tactics that are going into CSI that are really coming up with what's going on, what's new. I got the chance to speak to Deborah Hewing yesterday, and she told us a lot about what the AIDS Foundation is doing, but it is all research based. We need to research. We need to invest in research, and we need to invest in science and new innovations that are going to help, sort of make it easier for people to get into the CSI space and to really make a meaningful impact. So our last, I said 5, but it's actually 4. Our last big CSI heavyweight today is CSIR, right? A lot of people don't know what CSIR does. A lot of people don't know what's going on there. They just know that they're huge and they're everywhere. But if you didn't know, CSIR's mandate is to encourage and to cooperate with entities in the public and private sector, and they recognize that they need a collaborative approach to research to lead to better outcomes and innovation. So what they do is they really solve complex problems with using multidisciplinary approaches to resolve them, and they partner with key role companies so that they can come up with really great ways to change the ways in which organizations, companies, education institutions, government departments, and state-owned entities are able to focus on areas such as energy, health, industry, defense, security, as well as natural built and digital environments. And I think they have been around for long and they've done such amazing work. If you don't know about CSIR, you are living under a box, because, you know, they are really the heads of research. They really have headed research in water. I remember I used to really work with the water department there, and they are really, really amazing, and they're really coming up with some really great strategies. And I know the government now, if you had listened to the SONA, had spoken a little bit about integrating youth into, the water space, and really getting them to become plumbers, to become artisans in the water space. And I know CSIR is probably where they're going to get their research, because they do work with that kind of work. And that's what you need. You need tailor-made solutions. You need a really amazing intensive research company. You need someone who understands the digital space. And lastly, you need a one-stop shop that will give you a lowdown if you just don't have the time or the energy. The one thing we don't want is companies to make their CSI strategies PR gimmicks. We don't want you to try sell us something. We want you to give wholeheartedly from your hearts and from your pockets, actually, from your pockets. But we want you to really make meaningful strides to change the way South Africa is right now, so that we can be better. We always want to strive to be better. And that's me finishing off the show today. I know we started off a little bit late, but it is Wednesday and it's halfway through the week, and I think everybody's anticipating the weekend already. But thank you so much for listening. I'll see you all, or you'll hear from me tomorrow.
More than 8.1 billion rand was invested in CSI initiatives in the year 2015. Initiatives that want to save our planet, lift people out of poverty, and advance economic inclusion. Join me, Viwe Cholwana, as I unpack the projects that are aiming to move South Africa forward every week from 4 to 5 p.m. on The Social Show. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio. The Social Show is the only show that gives you updated content on all things CSI.
The show will interrogate and report on the latest initiatives that are supported, developed, and initiated by the public and private sector.
Hosted by myself, Viwe Cholwana,
and me, Lebika Robert,
every week from 4 to 5 p.m. Hear it on brandlive.co.za.
See it on social-tv.co.za.
brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of talk radio.